Now the time is over. The time when for the business, the humanities component is that you have to give something away as sponsor support. Plus also how do you spend at the university so the people that later on come and work for me. This whole idea that you need to give something away and then that somebody has to come back to me. This whole idea of this humanities idea, this time is done. Because in the conditions of global economy, the suggestions on the market, the offers is so many, they're all the same, the technology is the same, the quality in a situation with the standards and everything is so well coordinated. We know the nuclear plant can be built by the Americans and by French and by the Russian. So the competitiveness here in those conditions develops in some different segments, and it is evident that in order to come to a different country with your product, you have to gain the sort of empathy of this country. So the people that live in this country, they understand clearly why do they trust the nuclear plant to the Russians, why it's interesting and beneficial for them. And these connections that appear between the entrance of the product to the market and the change to the people's lives is key in terms of formation of acceptability of this business for the people. Let me give you an example. We analyzed this at the round table. Sergei Kiriyenko, the head of Rosatom, tells a story when mainly the fear of the safety of the nuclear energy, that the residents of one of the countries, they went out, they took to the streets to say that that there were fishermen that kept getting their shrimps, and they said if we build a station over here, then we're going to get polluted. Nobody's going to buy our shrimps. And then the humanities solution appeared. They shared the experience of the neighboring country. They're telling them, what are you talking about? The moment you build a nuclear power plant, they started to study the purity of the water. And I can always say that I'm raising my shrimps in a clean water. And, now the temperature of the water is 1 degree higher, and then the shrimps grow better whenever the water is warmer. So my shrimps are bigger. And then the third thing, now that the station's here, now there's 3 extra employees here. You know how the price of my shrimp went up? And that's what we call the acceptability, social acceptability. That when the apparition of some product changes the lives of people, it improves. And a person becomes a fan. Something that there's representatives of the Russian state. They'll come in here. I need them because they make my life better. So the foundation to form all sorts of connections is the presence of infrastructure in which you can become a part of to make sure these connections happen. So it appears to me that the vector that's been taken for the development of the Far Eastern region, that is called and being designed as a formation of infrastructure that is accessible, convenient to people, it's the right one that already is changing the attitude to the Far East.